Oh, how beautiful it is to be in a rebirth. I personally like to die for fun, so I just know there's gold waiting on the side for you. But how to deal with anger, pain, and bitterness while transmuting and your outer world is not matching the inner work you've been doing and the life that you know is supposed to be yours. I have to state this first because this is all that matters, but we will get into the nitty gritty. If you are on a rebirth journey era and you're in it and you're surrendering, I need you to know how sacred it is. It is a divine mission and an appointment from God and your team. Your life, your real true life, how you truly see yourself, wants you more than you want it. That's why it will do everything in its power to burn away every single illusion until you come out clean. It's not punishment. It's not that God doesn't want you to have these things. And depending on the mission and your purpose and your soul, it's not going to happen until you burn away every illusion. So that's why sometimes your life goes into override and it literally burns in flames. So just know this. This is all that matters at Centers. It is so divine. It is so beautiful. It is so divinely orchestrated that anything that comes up just needs to be processed and moved through. But once you know this and you keep it at the center, that alleviates all of these other things. Being misunderstood by others, financial struggle or instability, mood swings, betrayal, rejection, delays too. I wrote some stuff down. Feeling unseen or unsupported despite doing the work. You're doing some serious inner dimensional spiritual work and feel like it's not being reflected. But again, if you know you're on a divine assignment or a divine mission, you know that the spirit world, things happen fast, but because we're here in the 3D, it takes a while to come. It's not going unnoticed. I need you to understand that when you're on a divine mission, you have to trust and know that it is moving. And I know on this journey, depending on how many rebirths you had, you can doubt yourself. You can feel crazy, even when the signs and the synchronicities are so otherworldly. Because, again, the 3D is so dense, and it's literally programmed to make us forget, to doubt ourselves, to not be in alignment and in embodiment. But what you're doing is breaking out of all of that. So that's why I said you're on a divine mission, assignment, even override, if you will. Depending on what your mission is, sometimes you get pushed off the cliff, and I feel like a lot of us are going through this right now because the world needs us, needs course correcting. It's already on that path. Also can't get anything that's truly for you until you fully embody all these things. Being initiated into a rebirth era, an initiation, you can't leave it until you process, fully learn, and embody everything. So it's kind of like training you for the next level. This helped me as I'm going through all these different initiations and rebirths. I'm like, oh, you weren't ready yet, and not in a bad, it's coming, it's yours, but it's also there to stay. You never want to beat up or miss a step. Everything is so crucial and pivotal. Every single lesson, even feeling triggered, is part of it. Because what haven't you integrated yet? Why are you still being triggered by not feeling seen, or the delays when you know that this is the mission, but you don't really know it yet? So you have to get to that point in your rebirth era where you know that this is a part of not only your highest good, but the collective's highest good. Realize that, all this inner clarity that you have and all of the work that you've done, your physical isn't matching that. It's where the bitterness and the resentment starts to creep in, because you're like, nah, this has to be for something. This can't be in vain, right? And it's not. But again, we're operating in the 3D and it's very dense. And the rebirthing is so interesting because you do know, and then you're also met with the 3D where you doubt yourself, and then you have some resentment and you're bitter because your spirit knows. That's the crazy part. Your spirit does know, and it knows what's possible. You know what's been revealed to you. You know what has your name on it. You've known before you even were at this specific rebirth, which is why it's happening, because you've always known, but it knows what's possible. It knows what's yours. And you also can recognize the gap based on what you're witnessing in the 3D. And it's not matching, and it's excruciating, and it's painful. But transmutation starts with witnessing, acknowledging, and not judgment. Everything that comes up is energy, and it's meant to be felt and moved through. It's not meant to be repressed. We're trying to speed up this rebirth, not speed it up, but we're trying to move through the rebirth. So you have to feel everything. Journal, scream, cry. I can't tell you how many times I have cried every day. My longest rebirth was a year and a half. It was crazy. But unknowingly, now that I'm out of it, like, I processed everything without knowing. Just like move through it, dance, scream, cry, feel everything. And when it comes to delays, don't let the world's delays or the material delays define your heart. Your love, your softness, your childlike nature, everything that makes you you is because it makes you you. It's not a performance. It's not a reward, for things going right. Just because I'm happy and I'm this, shouldn't I be gifted with all this stuff? Well, yes, but you do that anyways because that is deeply who you are, whatever those things are. You show up unapologetically, rain or shine, whatever it is that makes you you, okay? And you will be rewarded, but that is not the purpose. That's not the purpose. That's already yours. That's a given, but people that are on these missions and assignments, we're being refined through the fire, okay? What is needed during this season is more important than what you're trying to get. But it is coming. That's why you have to go through it. And being bitter is so real. It's so real. When you're processing and you're on this journey, you become bitter because you realized in that moment, I deserved better. You have more clarity now, so you're like, damn, how did I allow X, Y, and Z? How did I allow these things to happen to me? I can't believe that I let this slide and that slide and all this stuff. You need to turn it into a boundary. So when you move through this next season, life's not over. And this is the thing where people end up being prisoners of their own world. Listen, life goes on. So next time we move forward and we get out of this rebirth, we have boundaries, because boundaries teach others how to love us properly, so we don't turn bitter or have resentment to these people. And this is where people get stuck in loops and live their whole lives holding on to so much resentment and bitterness until it freaking just makes them wither away. They fail to realize that actually there is still time. You do deserve better. You can change it at any time, but you have to process it and let it go, let it move through you. And a boundary that says, I still deserve better, and I am not going to waver from that truth. Moving forward, anything that doesn't match that falls away. I will be aligned with that newfound truth for myself. For a long time, I would play things over like, I can't believe I let this slide, and I can't believe I allowed this person to treat me that way. But also giving grace to your past version of yourself. I realized if I loved myself in that season or in that moment, that wouldn't have happened, but it was necessary. And now that we're out of it, we don't have to keep rehashing it. We have to process and move forward. And part of that process is being patient, letting things align and move around you. Once you solidify these things within yourself, you have to wait for the world to shift and to show up differently. A lot of the times, past echoes will still keep showing up. And you have to be discerning to know that actually this is the old version, this isn't aligned with the new version. You have to just give it some time before it really sticks. I've gone through so many, I can track it with precision. I know a lot of people talk about awakenings and their rebirths and being out of sync with people, and also attaching kind of a miserable or too good energy towards that. And we're not meant to do that. We are here on this earth to experience all the things. I know people talked about food. While yes, they have done some things to the food, there's an equal amount of good to everything that's bad. So you just have to wait, let it settle, because life is meant to be enjoyed. We're meant to live, create, all of that. It's not meant to be a horrible existence. It gets better. Trust the process. We're not meant to look at people, places, or things with such distaste or disgust. You're going through a refinement period. You're outgrowing certain people. You're out of sync right now, but it will not be that way forever. Life gets enjoyed. Life is supposed to be celebrated. It's not meant to be, I've had this spiritual awakening and epiphany, now screw everybody. For a time being, sure, but it's not forever. Let it move through you. And you need to be more selfish. Who cares what people think? This is your journey. So if people don't understand it, it's not for them. And I know you've lived lifetimes self-sacrificing. You need selfishness and you need a healthy ego for true embodiment, to get what you truly want. That's a whole different subject, but be selfish. This is your journey. This is your rebirth era. So good luck. You got this. Trust the process. Trust yourself more than anybody. And see you on the other side.